Hey, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Linnea. And this is Mixtape for 2. How long have we been together now?
My math or yours? I say since January 15th. So that would be, we're going to
8 months.
Yep, entering our 9th month, right?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
But you would say,
Okay. So according to him, we've been together for 8 months. But according to my generation, you gotta ask the person first, to be their girl, be your girlfriend and all that good stuff. And so it would technically be 7 months.
yeah, March.
Yeah,
You're going up to
March
March 28th.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jodeci and Thunder Valley. So to me, it's the official date is March 28th. But as soon as we started talking, we never stopped talking. We had met before. We'll get to that. We met. We started talking on the 14th. We had a conversation, our first real conversation. And then on the 15th,
I was like, "You got any talking stages left in
you know, they say shoot your shot. Legit, like, do you have any talking stages? Are you single? You trying to have kids? Are you trying to what time's the courthouse open so we can get married?" Okay, I added that last part. But really, it went from it was very direct, and to me, it had been from that point we never stopped talking. There hasn't been a day we haven't talked. There's been days we haven't seen each other in person, but there's never been a day we haven't talked in some capacity.
Yeah.
And we've been rolling ever since, and here we are. So
he met me at a time where I said that I was never shooting my shot again because every time I did, it ended badly. But I think the interesting part about us meeting is that we had met. Well, I'll say we met first 6 months prior at an event, and it was just hey, you know these people, I know these people, okay, cool. And then from that moment, we just kept seeing each other around campus where we worked at.
And one time I saw her, waved at her to get her attention, nothing. She was focused. She was in her phone, probably doing work, and I just missed it. But I told her this. I told her later. I'm glad she didn't because I wasn't sure what her name was. I knew it was something with an L. I had someone with me, so I could have been like, "Hey, this is blah blah blah," and you'd be like, "Oh, got it."
But remember, I thought your name was your friend's name.
She thought it was Brandon.
Yeah,
I'm not Brandon. I'm Jeff.
I thought that was his name. I didn't. Right. I didn't realize it was Jeff. So.
Not the first person to think I'm somebody else. Yeah, we met at an event, and at the time, I think I'd say this, she still had her wedding ring on. It was still in that part. And then when I met her again, same situation. And I am not a person that even remotely does this. Now, backstory on me, even if I was flirting, I wouldn't know it. And if she was interested, I also wouldn't know it.
Yeah. Okay, let me back up first.
You're born in the Bay. No. That far back?
Here's my story. Here's my life story. No, so the first time I met him, I was going through exploring options of divorce. Oh. And I wasn't, even when we met for the first time, I wasn't thinking I want to talk to this dude. It wasn't, he was cute, but I wasn't thinking about getting his number and, all that stuff. But then the times after I saw him, I just thought, oh yeah, there's that guy, I think Brandon, whatever. Right. But then it was
good old Brandon.
Hey Brandon. I filed for divorce, all that good stuff, whatever. And then I saw him in January. No, December. Okay, so me and my friend, we were at work, we were at an event, and when we left, she was like, "Oh girl, he was flirting with you." And I was like, "Who?" And she was like, "The guy that you was talking to." I was just like, I don't know. I don't really think so. And she was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And so didn't say anything, nothing like that. January came. I was helping spearhead a committee, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was in the parking lot and I saw him and I was like, I've been meaning to connect with you. I need you to be on this commit. I need you to be on this committee. And and then from there, we ended up talking for 30 minutes in the parking lot.
It was a good, it's a good conversation, a long conversation for especially it was a cold winter. It was a January day. It was cold. I had food waiting. So my back part is, I'll go back to when we first met her. She was cool. We was a bunch of us hanging out at this event. The second time that I was accused, my good name being besmirched about flirting with people at the place I worked. I don't. I still viewed her as a married woman. I didn't know her situation, so I was just being friendly, which apparently that is flirting in 2024.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, for a lot of people it is because they just don't know better.
Yeah,
but now that she knows me, she knows I definitely wasn't flirting because that is not how I do it. I think she picked up on early too that she had to be direct because I would have been like, if it was left up to me, it would have been, hey, Linnea, thanks for inviting me. See you another time. And she actually was the one that took the first step. But the day that we met, I believe in divine intervention and things that are like laid out. I was eating late. I think I was going to work. I looked it up like 3 o'clock.
Almost 3 getting lunch.
I was going at a place DoorDash to Tacoma. Shout out to Tacoma. They have great tacos, burritos, and nachos. Sponsorship.
Thanks for being the unofficial sponsor.
And I was walking through the parking lot. If I would have been 5 or 10 minutes earlier or later, gone into campus to eat, brought lunch, something, we wouldn't have ran into each other. I believe we would have ran into each other at the time, but it was perfect. And when we saw each other, well, you could tell, like, we got a real conversation.
Oh, yeah,
It went from, like, hey to, like, I'm talking, like, in 10 minutes, we're talking about divorce. We talked about death.
Loss, and, just about everything, how we didn't receive certain things in relationships and, how dating is difficult or just all the stuff that you could think of in like a short 30-minute time span. That's exactly what we talked about until someone stopped us from talking. Thanks, Dawn.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, shout out to Dawn, the other unofficial sponsor. What's your name? Name dropper.
Yeah.
So my backstory quickly. So in the conversation, I had told myself before. So I'll just backtrack. At Christmas, my daughter was like, I have an adult daughter, and she said, "Dad, can I do your dating profile?" And I was like, "Fine, whatever." She's like, "Oh, we're gonna put you out there." She told me that I have Riz. Apparently, that's a compliment.
Yeah, I don't really know what that means.
Yeah, she's like, "We're gonna do that." But I had also told myself, I'm not gonna play not that I play games, but I'm not gonna sit here and kind of put myself out there in pieces. Mine's a little more complicated than hers. I am a widower. I was married for 7 years, and suddenly she passed. I'm a divorcee. I got remarried. That went from bad to bad, and then just realizing it had to end. And at the same time, I'm also a father of 3 children, 2 who are stepchildren, 1 is biological that I raised. Oh, and my mom lives with me. So I'm the complete package here. And truth be told, like I work in service with working with people, which usually doesn't pay like other professions, but I love what I do and I'm passionate. I'm good at it. Shout out to plug myself. But I let her know that was what I was coming to the table with. That I experienced loss and I experienced these things, and I'm a father and all these. And also there's an age difference, generational difference. But we clicked from the moment. We clicked back before. We realized that too. But it wasn't like this. This was as soon as she said something about divorce. My demeanor changed.
He was like, "Oh yeah, she is."
I was like, "So."
Yeah, that ring not on her finger. Oh.
But it was like the conversation became a different type of conversation to me.
Yeah.
And then to me, it was over. We had a meeting the next day. It was a committee meeting. Now I'm going to tell this. I have to tell this because now that I get her, it makes sense. So committee meeting, we do our thing, and I used to run a center that had snacks all the time. So hey, if anybody wants snacks, come by. Call's about to end. We're on a Zoom call, and she's like, "Oh, I'm going to come by and get a snack." "Oh, you said you have snacks? I'm going to stop by. Where are you at?" And I tell her, I think I told her you text me, but message me. So she shows up, and I take her to the snack table. She picks up fruit snacks, which now I know there was nothing on that table she wanted.
No.
And the way she did it is she looked and she went, anybody knows, Leia, that's how she's taking something like, I'm going to take this out of respect to the situation and I have manners, but this is not getting eaten. And we talked. And apparently I was funny because one of the staff members was like, Jeff, you're funny, but not that funny. That woman likes you. And I was like, whatever. No, she doesn't.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yeah.
So, after I went over there and seen how he interacted with the people, and all the stuff, it's like, okay. And then so later on, I was like, is this your personal number? And he was like, yes. And I was like, you got any more? Oh, no, I was like, are you single? Because you got to ask these days, okay? Because
Yeah.
people be in situationships, they be in all these different things and entanglements. I don't got time. And I was like, yeah, are you single? He was like, yes. And I was like, do you have any more talking stages left in you, okay? Because someone may be single, but they may not be ready to actually put themselves out there to be open to dating. And he said, yeah. And I was like, all right. So, again, since January 15th.
Yeah, and it's payday for some people. I didn't, 4 months before, a couple months before tax day. When she said the talking stages, I had never considered that people have like a number of talking stages, or they just don't want to put themselves through it.
Yeah.
I've never been one of those people to just kind of casually date. I've always dated like seriously as a true adult.
Mm-hmm.
I found out I'm a person that dates for marriage, not for just a relationship, or for like I'm not a relation to fill in the space, or like a serial monogamist. And and we started texting and calling, and it got serious. Like, it's interesting. Like, it was fun and like normal stuff, but it went serious pretty quick, probably because of the first conversation. But we both had questions, and we both were. I think one thing that worked is we were respectful of the other person's situation.
Yeah.
We didn't pry.
We didn't pry. We didn't assume, like, oh, if I'm hearing he has 3 kids, like, like, what? Oh, you got 3 baby mamas, like, that type of thing. But I think from the beginning is, okay, one, I'm a communicator. I work in communications. Communications is huge for me. And I had to learn before I jumped into another relationship or dating, just like, what exactly am I looking for? And it wasn't until my therapist actually told me, you need to make a list of exactly what you want in this person. And so when we finally connected, I think it was like maybe a week since we had been talking, and my therapist was like, make your list, all this stuff. And I made the list, and I was like, oh, I know someone who fits this perfectly. Yeah.
And
it was him.
I never thought. So what's been a trend with us is, like, although I may have like more years on the earth, I've been around longer. A lot of things I just never even considered, like a list. Like, why would I have lists for everything, but what I wanted in a significant other.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing, and it was a little different because I knew her, but I was very direct and honest, and like I didn't sugarcoat it. But I never considered it, and actually I've used that now with other people, that you should have a list.
Yeah.
The timing is perfect. I had just told myself that I've been open to dating. I hadn't dated. I got divorced in 2022 officially, but everything begun. The end had begun before then.
Yeah.
So in 21, and then I haven't dated. I've been being a dad, being in my profession, being a son, just being an outstanding member of the community. Normal stuff. But to me, interesting is that, like, not interesting, but communication is, for a living, my job was to build relationships and to get people to trust and open up and be vulnerable. But I do that by modeling it. There is nothing that I won't talk about. I talk a lot, but I'm open in the sense of, like, I'll put my insecurities and things out there and be like, this is what I'm dealing with. And if it's a problem, it's a problem, but I'd rather have it be talked about. And same with her. There are some things about me that she Googled. We'll get to that in a second. But she never pried. Like I said that I had lost a wife. She never asked about it. There was a court case. She never asked about that. There's some other things about the children specific. She didn't ask, but when it came up, she would then ask, which I found amazing because a lot of people, like, they have this list of, like, and it's usually it's not that it's disrespectful. It's just there's a more respectful way to do it, and you do that.
There's a way that you have to communicate with people, especially when you're dealing with, like, sensitive topics. And it goes back to the, like, you can't assume what someone has gone through based off of the information that they've given you. And so when I told him that I Googled him, he was like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, former reporter here. Yeah, I Google everybody. I don't care who you are. I'm looking up to see if anything pop up, something strange, and checking Facebooks and everything. And especially because, you know, I have a son, like I have a young child, and you don't just want anyone around your child. And I just think that from the get-go, like we both love, and we both have been neglected of it for a long time. With someone loving us how they're supposed to and not tolerating us. I think that's a big thing that we've learned.
Yeah.
And so for both of us, it kind of was like, okay, like we in this. Like I'm not and the other thing is no struggle of. That was the other thing, because some people stay in relationships and situationships because they've been with someone for so long. When in reality, if you are not benefiting from that relationship, whether it be boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever the case may be, if you're not benefiting from that, why are you still attached to them? And I think that we had conversations around that in general and just really got to learn each other quickly, because we were so vulnerable and transparent with each other and not being afraid to ask each other questions, especially when it came to just our communication style. So I think one thing that really surprised us was that there's something called Clifton Strengths, and I learned it in my leadership class, and I had asked him if he took the test before, and he said yeah. And so mine are woo, which is to win over people, woo, developer, positivity, communications, and responsibility.
I have to look mine up, but I know woo's at the top, connector. I think developers on there, and this is interesting. I did this 10 years before. It was still woo was in there, but the other things hadn't weren't as strong because of some things. But the woo, you rarely see in a room of like say 50 people. You're not going to get a lot of woo,
right?
But in our situation, it was the fact that we both were, and it's obvious when you talk to us.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to hype us up, but like just we go into a room and we're not scared.
Yeah.
We're not scared of the room, and also we not work the room. We get to know people, and we quickly get to know that we can know people. We both also been in situations growing up where we had to be in situations where I need to make friends or I need to make establish myself socially.
Yeah. Which
helps. To the point about the Google thing, I want to say this: if you are dating, Google that person. At first when she said it, I was like, huh? Then I was like, oh, that makes sense. And as a man, it didn't even cross my mind. But as a woman, as a father of a dad, a girl dad, teach them to look that up. But also, you want to know the person that it is, and anything that's questionable, you should ask about.
Yeah.
But why not look up? If you're gonna look at socials, why not look at this?
Look, yeah. So you do Google. And you ask them where they lived at, and you look in the court systems. You go to the county court, you go to the city, you do all the stuff, all of it, okay?
I was gonna
say, ask them if they go by any other names, any aliases, look them up. Mm-hmm.
And you can do all this too. I was gonna say Black Planet or MySpace because I'm old. No, but those are good advice. And one thing that we realized we were doing is modeling for other people.
Yeah.
Like, we're not perfect by a stretch of imagination. I'm guilty in the relationship of I'm an overthinker, and I get in my head, and when I get in my head, it can get bad. That those intrusive thoughts and those things, but I'm open and honest about it. Yet at the same time, we realized that we're in a better place than a lot of people when you talk to them. Like, you ever talk to a couple and you're like, you're like, oh gosh, that sounds horrible.
Yeah.
They're like, but we're going strong for 8 years, and you're like, struggle up.
Yeah, yeah.
But I worked in a space that was predominantly it was young men and college age students, and she would come in sometimes at a table and she'd work in there. She's like, oh, this is your space. And then one day I said, yeah, but I think it's good that they see this in here. Mm-hmm. But she knew what I meant. A lot of my young men that I worked with hadn't seen a healthy couple, didn't have a mom and dad, or had two, or had even, or mom and dad, or mom and mom, dad and dad, two adults who loved each other in a healthy way, that really were like into each other, had fun, supported each other in all aspects, and you could tell that there was a lot of respect and love, and that's what I realized. And I was called Uncle Jeff, and she's unaffectionately, according to her, no, she's become auntie to some people, which she's definitely not auntie age, but
I'm getting there, maybe with the curls,
right.
But
she understands why they call it that.
Yeah,
that is.
It's like a sign of respect
Yeah.
and all that goodness. But I think even to your point about like learning each other. So I don't want to say our relationship is perfect because nothing is perfect, but it's close. Like it's close. And honestly, I feel like, and we'll get into this in like another episode or whatever, but it's more so we're trying to unlearn the defense mechanisms that we've built up from being in other relationships. So I talk like this, I talk very direct, like things like that. And if you're someone who's been in a relationship with someone who was verbally abusive towards you or just always looking to attack you in some way and try to find something wrong, my tone may come off a little different. Like, oh, like, did I do something wrong? Did whatever? So it's really, when you get into, and this has been all over social media, when you get into a healthy relationship, you start to learn how to, like, you kind of have to still put in the work to take down some of those defense mechanisms that you have been up for so long. Yeah.
I mean, we both came to each other at a good time because we're both active in therapy, had gone through painful stuff, and actually had been very honest with ourselves. And I think we both were at a place kind of like, maybe this is just going to be my time where it's just me. Mm-hmm. Which I find is usually the time when the best things come into your life, whether it's, professional, personal, interpersonal. Because I wasn't looking for her. I wasn't looking for anybody. I mean, I was just literally trying to get, I think I was ordering nachos. I was trying to get food. But even like when we first met, it was just nice to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't romantic, just to talk to somebody who,
with some common sense.
Some common sense. You could talk about some real stuff.
Now I was exploring. I was talking to people. I tried that nasty Facebook dating. Don't do it. No. But if you need a self-confidence boost, Facebook dating will give it. Because you're gonna be like, you really think you can talk to me? Like what? Yeah. So that was a hot mess. And
I just go to church on Sunday.
That was a hot mess. So I'd rather meet the person in person and talk to them and be able to have conversations, because some people are just weird on the internet.
And I didn't know that there was, when we talked, I didn't even ask you to talk to anybody else. I think because deep down inside I didn't want to know. But at the same time, when we talked about it later, she's like, yeah. And it makes sense. Like, you're not, like, I'm just out there, like, I got enough time, barely enough time for myself, let alone anything else. Mm-hmm. But for me, I'm not a competitive person in a lot of ways, but part of me was like, I won. No. But I did, like, but I didn't do it, like, because I didn't know there was anybody out. It was that she was even remotely interested in anybody else. Mm-hmm. I just did what I do. Yeah. I was me. Yeah. And that won her over. It didn't beat the other guy, but it won her over. Yeah. And there were times early on where she thought I was love bombing.
Yeah. I was like,
because I'm a great guy. No. But even her, like, same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. He thought the same thing. It's just, we literally thought we were telling each other what we want, the other person, but it's like, we're just those genuine people, because I'm a Cancer. Okay. I'm a Cancer. And we love hard. Like, even our friends, and my friends will say this too, like, whatever it is, like, I'm a ride or die for my friends or whoever. If I feel like I have a connection with that person, I'm rooting for them. Like, that's the type of person that I am. And so once it comes to relationships, I've always been that person to latch onto people quickly, and you want to give that love to someone. And so with the help of my therapist, she made me slow down and figure out exactly what I wanted in a person, and that was in a person and relationship. That was like the two big things. So I think it's worked out.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we always laughed about was like how things just worked well. Like, So I don't know if you talk about this now, but I can't have kids, but she was of age to still have children. So she's like, "Do you want to have another kid? Do you want to have kids?" And I was like, "I'm good." She's like, whew.
I said, "Well, thank God."
I'm good too. I was like, "Yes."
Well, yeah,
but my reason is, age and experience in life, and like, I'm good. But hers, we'll talk about that probably in another episode. Yeah. I really get in, but the idea was, she's like, I'm good where I'm at, and we talked about marriage, and both were like, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that we were saying no. We were just more like,
if that the right person
right.
makes me change my mind, then we'll talk about it. But
yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Yeah, no, it's just that I think that was a big thing for me too when I was talking to people was the whole kid thing. Was like, I'm not having no more kids. And if you know my story, all that greatness, you know I dealt with hyperemesis gravidarum. You're sick the whole 9 months. And I have incompetent cervix, which means that my cervix opens up prematurely, which means the baby's trying to come soon. Don't want to deal with that. Nope, absolutely not. So, you know, I got my little Caden and that's it. Right. That's all.
My kids are adults. I have they're all, one just turned 18. And I honestly thought the next time I would be dealing with in any kind of capacity with a younger child, to be a grandchild, till you meet my kids. And you're like, well, that could be a long time or never. But I mean that because that track's not being laid for that. But at the same time, when I met her, we had a conversation, and now I'm back into parenting, which has been interesting because when you do it later in life, after you've already done it, you're like, oh, this is way easier. But also, it's not, because kids are crazy. That's why another podcast called Kids Are Crazy, and you can chime in. But there was something else. A lot of times we bring stuff up to each other in the courting stage, and in the beginning part, and she would, we bring it up, and she, we both be like, oh yeah. Even like I'm an intentional person in a lot of ways, and I am also I'm a people pleaser. Mm-hmm. And also deep down inside, I know I want to be liked and loved and appreciated. So that informs a lot of that used to really inform what I do. But at the same time, after doing a lot of work on myself, I realized I just like doing that. I like being of service to other people. It's one of my love languages. With her, it worked. I didn't realize this. So, okay, I'm going to talk.
Some men.
Come here.
The bare minimum.
Oh my God. Okay, they say the bar is lower. I'm like, no, that bar was on the floor.
Yeah.
And I thought she was
in the basement.
Right. There's no bar. It's just the two things that hold the bar. When she brought up the idea of we just talked about talking, going and hanging out, I was like, well, let's go get lunch or dinner. Just in passing, to me, it was like, that's what you do. I'm a Gen X guy, 90s, rom-coms and all that stuff, all that TV show stuff. But in my mind, you ask someone out, you go and do stuff together. And I'm a
hyphy girl from the Bay Area on this way.
She's not lying. And I'm Mac Dre before he was with before he went to jail. That I know, 2 hours for the radio. Just never mind. But when I asked her, I just was like, yeah, we should, in my mind, it was like, we're talking, we should go do something in person. I was like, let's do lunch or dinner, near campus. And her was, oh yeah, okay. Yeah. That's how she responded. I was like, cool, and I'll set it up and I'll let you know. I didn't know what was happening on the other side
I was freaking out. I was like, am I supposed to pay for the date even though he asked me out? But then you also don't want to assume that he's paying for it because this is your first date. All that stuff is going through my brain. All of it. And I asked my friends, they was like, yeah, he should pay for it because he's the one that asked you out. I'm like, I know, I get it, but I don't know. And so what did I do? Because I'm Linnea, I said, just so I'm clear, are you paying or am I paying? And I know his face probably dropped.
I was like, I'm paying? And now she knows me, the look of his yeah, I'm paying. In my mind, if I asked you out, I'm paying. And I understood that, as time has gone on, some people don't even take people out. They just try to, meet up. Yeah. Which is a whole nother issue. But I was like, yeah, I'm asking, I'm going to take you out on a date. Yeah. And we did. And spoiler alert, it went well. But it was also, we also were both very nervous and we played it off.
Yeah. I made sure. And then I also listened to my best friends because there was a time where it was a California girl on the East Coast and I didn't want anybody holding the door for me. I'm like, I'm strong, independent. You don't need to do that. I can get it myself. You can move faster. No. So what did I do on the first date? I made sure he opened the door. I stepped aside, and let him do his thing. Mm-hmm. I still struggle.
Sometimes I'm like,
I still struggle with that though.
Yeah. She does. I mean, that's part of relationships, right? Figuring is you got to get comfortable. The part that's always been hard in any relationship, whether it's like, you know, you start a new job, new roommates, and especially like a relationship, it's how you've been doing things may have to change, and it's not because it's right or wrong. It just has to change, and sometimes it's wrong, sometimes it's right. But with us, it was like I was raised to hold the door because my mom. I didn't realize this until I was an adult. My mom would wait for some man to open the door that, like, if she was dating, except for me as a child. But I guess as an adult, I was supposed to, but I just did it anyway. And chivalry is not dead. But even like that, when we went to eat, I heard what she said. She said, initiative matters.
Yes.
So when she was sitting there, she said something. I got up and I got the napkins and all that stuff, and you know, ordered. I didn't order for her, but took the initiative like to do those things. But I didn't do it so I could be like, oh, look at him. Look, you see that initiative? I did it because if you care, you got to show them.
Yeah.
And one way you show is by being intentional. And this is not a money thing. I think what people think is, I bought her a bag or something. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Like with her, it's I listened. I didn't take notes, but I took notes up here. You can see I have a large head, so I have a lot of space for notes. You pay attention. So for example, if you know that they like something, and maybe money's tight, like you can't really afford a lot, but you know that there's a certain drink that they like or a candy or something, and you just be like, hey, you go to meet them, you're like, hey, I bought this for you. I thought, or if you know where they work, you drop it off. You know they work, it's crazy. But if you stop at their job or their home or whatever, little things like that matter.
Yeah.
And the other thing I could give her was a lot of my time.
Yeah.
And time is important. I mean, you got to go. We used to walk.
Oh yeah, we used to walk all the time,
which is fun.
We were close.
And also where we at gets really hot really fast, so it wasn't.
Yeah.
But just what you're going to hear is a story, and I don't know if I should. We both, like we said this before, but to say that we've been through some stuff is saying a lot. We both.
No, we could wait.
Yeah,
we could wait.
Come back, but sponsors we like. No.
But
go ahead. Sorry, I was going to say something about the sponsors. Well, no, somebody said you should just keep name dropping them until they pick up on the.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think the reason that we really wanted to have this platform and to start making these videos is because we have so many conversations about so many other things that are not like relationship related, but a lot of it is communication related. So like we'll be scrolling and we're one of those people, we send each other memes all day, every day, just all different stuff, whether it be funny, whether it be something strategic or get you thinking. And then just a lot of stuff we like respond to, and their conversation started as well. And so we just wanted to kind of put our thoughts in our conversations more out there, because I feel like the more people see the more people see couples having these deep conversations, or not even deep, like some of it could just be like surface level, just stuff you just haven't thought about. But the more people see these conversations and the answers and how communication is key, and it's not just communication via text message, it's how you communicate via body language, like mental, emotional, like all those things. I think the better people's relationships are going to be, and especially when you bring intention into it as well. When you're intentional about who you date and who you put your energy towards, it makes all the difference.
It does. I mean, I can't say any better than that.
So,
I would say, so this is like for a clip, but how do you define love?
Oh.
Or what does love look like or feel like? Just choose like some of it.
Love is intentional. And I would say love is intentional and unique, because not everyone is going to receive the same love you give to each person that you love in your life.
That's good.
What about you?
The person sees and knows who you truly are, and they still want to be around you. No, that's part of it. But actually, they accept that that's who you are, and they show up for you in a way that meets what you want and need. I knew I loved her early on, and our first way to express love was through hearts. Shout out to the emojis, because we both were in a place where like, this is too soon, or should we say this? And I'm gonna say this as somebody, you'll hear this, but as somebody who's had things taken away pretty quickly, I always encourage people, say it. I used to tell my students, have the awkward conversation, because that's better than the conversation you wished you would have had. You know, one of my former staff, he used to tell his friends and get on the phone and be like, "All right, I love you." They'd be like, "All right." He's like, "Nope, you got to say it. You got to say it."
Say it back.
And because God, God willing, you'll see the person again. But if you don't, you know that they knew how you felt, and they know that you loved them, and you don't have to worry about all those things. And also, if you're blessed to have just one solid person in your life that knows all of the good and bad and still rocks with you, you're doing great.
All right. Well, we will see y'all next time. We're gonna keep this super like informal because we're just two people that like to have conversations.
Maybe a tuxedo T-shirt or something. But
Goodbye.
all right.
See y'all later.